Hello everybody, how are you doing today? It's me, Shad, again. Face, voice, and brands at OrNERDnary. Talked about this a couple different times elsewhere, but in the lead up to getting this camera and doing the video review stuff, I talked about wanting to do vlogs. And, not necessarily daily vlogs or anything like that, because let's face it, my life is not interesting enough to do that. You just see a lot of me sitting around playing video games, reading and stuff. But I did want to do vlogs every now and then, and I feel like right now is a really, really terrible yet interesting time to be alive. As you know, we are in a global pandemic with the virus. I know what it's called. I have learned from watching other people, though, that YouTube doesn't like it when you say the word. You can say pandemic, but you can't say the C word. So I'm not going to, just in case, I ever get the chance to monetize this channel. With my 24 subscribers. They don't take that as a slight. I love you guys. It's just an interesting time, and I kind of wanted to catalog it. In a very video gamey, let's do a voice log kind of thing to leave behind for those that come after us, that sort of thing. And it's just an interesting time because, there's so much panic. I spent a lot of time yesterday talking to different people that are on varying degrees of panic and worry with it, from my mother to my 14-year-old daughter. My 14-year-old daughter and I talked a very long time last night because she's directly affected by this now because she is she's a school-age child here in Ohio, and they just closed all schools in the state for 3 weeks. They're gonna do some at-home learning stuff via the internet, but they're down for 3 weeks, and her mother, myself, and my girlfriend, we all talked about it last night, and for the time being, we're going to put a moratorium on our weekend visits. And my daughter was supposed to come here today and spend the weekend with us, and then and next week it would have been all the kids, and we're doing this out of safety for everybody. But particularly it hurts me because I'm the cause of it as a diabetic. I've only been diabetic, or I've only known I've been diabetic for about 2 months. And I've been told repeatedly that my immune system is now compromised. And then when you see the C word, infographics and stuff, everyone's like, oh, you'll be fine. You have a 99% chance, or 99.5% chance of survival if you're a young, healthy person. Well, I have diabetes, and I'm struggling with high blood pressure, although the medication I'm on has certainly fixed that to a greater extent. My last blood pressure check was in what would be considered normal range. But there's all these infographics that are like, unless you're one of these people, don't you should just be calm. It's like, but what about those of us that are those people? Diabetics have a 7.5, I think is what the graph said. A 7.5% chance of dying. Whereas the normal range is 1 to 3%. I'm looking it up now. See if I still have it in my phone. But they, it's just a terribly interesting time because, yes, diabetes, 7.3%. If you have diabetes, the percentage with other serious ailments who die, 7.3% diabetics. So also 6% for abnormally high blood pressure, and 10.5% if you have cardiovascular disease. So it's a terrible time. People weren't taking it seriously till this week, I think. I heard so many people, including where I work, talking about I'll just get a mask and some gloves, or it's just the flu. But it's worse than that. The the CDC is out there laying it bare that this disease is 10 times more deadly than the seasonal flu. Not quite as deadly as like the Spanish flu from the 1920s, or 1918, I think, is when the Spanish flu outbreak hit. But yeah, it's a serious thing that needs to be taken seriously. And that's what most of my conversations were yesterday, were that like it's completely survivable for most people, but you should also not, screw off and joke about it and think it's not a serious thing. There's some coworkers of mine that post stuff fairly regularly about how you shouldn't panic and you should just keep living your life and stuff. And to the greater extent, that's true. Keep living your life. There's talk right now here in Ohio that 1% of the population has it, which is more than 100,000 people, which is a scary number. And that's something Chelsea and I talked about yesterday too, was that like it, 1 to 3% of the population that gets it will die. That's a fact. That sounds okay until you start thinking about exactly what 1% of the population is. Here in Ohio, 1% is over 100,000 people. Countrywide, that number goes up quite a bit. Worldwide, number goes up quite a bit. It's interesting too, because in the last week we've seen Major League Baseball postpone their season by 2 weeks. We've seen the NBA, the NHL, the MLS, the ATP, the XFL. They've all suspended their seasons. I think the XFL season's canceled outright. And Disneyland closed for the rest of March, starting today. Movies are being delayed. Fast and the Furious, the next sequel was delayed. The New Mutants, or whatever it was called, that Disney's putting out, is being delayed. I think James Bond has been delayed. They're just movie delays. The president of Brazil has this disease. The Prime Minister of Canada and his wife are under quarantine right now because I think she has been exposed and tested positive. At the very least, she's exposed. I don't want to dive in too deep on that without knowing it. E3 got canceled. South by Southwest was canceled. WrestleMania's still on. I'm scratching my head on that one, Vince. Vince McMahon, what are you doing there? Like, go ahead and cancel it, because open air arena and all that. But like they're saying, like, here in Ohio, they don't want mass gatherings of more than 100 people because this disease is so contagious. And I figured, I know this is a very negative vlog and topic, but I think it's important that we do these sort of things. Journal if you'd rather write. Record little videos on your phone. This isn't my phone, obviously, because my phone's right here. But this is important stuff. Like, I am very aware of my mortality here. I'm in my late mid-30s, let's say, and this disease could kill me because I'm a diabetic and I have high blood pressure. Probably have cardiovascular issues too, let's be real. Years of being way too overweight and not taking care of myself took a toll. And that's reality. Like, it's just like when I got the diabetes diagnosis, I had a lot of gallows humor about it, like making jokes about eventually losing my foot or something due to some stupid ingrown toenail or whatever. This is very real. And I'll admit I'm heartbroken about missing this weekend with my daughter. I love our weekends together when it's just her and I. Or her, I, and Chelsea. But, like, not... Oh, crap. I got eyelash in my eye. Not crying, I promise. I have very long eyelashes. I don't know if you can see them on the camera. I got very long eyelashes. And they tend to get in my eyes. I'm heartbroken about losing my weekend with my girl. Even though, honestly, all we do is sit and play video games, and not even together, just in the same room. She's my little gamer girl. She loves video games. I love video games. We watch anime together. Sometimes we haven't watched anime in a while. In fact, she's the reason I watch anime. I've talked about it before. Like I did not like anime until my daughter got into it, and then she got me to watch some of them. I was like, this isn't half bad. Some of them. Anyway, I'm heartbroken about that. I feel terrible because it makes me feel like I failed her because I know she needs the weekend away as well. But it's also a safety thing because, I'm concerned that we're going to get it at work anyway. Not because I work in the healthcare industry, because I'm on the back end. I'm on the billing, money collecting side of the healthcare industry. But because, people around me at work, there's people in my immediate workspace that are going on a cruise in a couple weeks, if that is still allowed to happen. There's a family that's currently quarantined in a nearby community. Their kid rides the same bus as the kid of the person that sits right behind me. I'm being a realist. It's a really good possibility that the C word will find its way into my life at some point. I mean, statistically, most of us will have encountered it. Most of us will survive it. And I hope and pray that most of us do survive it, because I'm not ready to die. I know you're probably not ready to die. Even if you're sad and depressed, you're probably not really ready to die, because even when I was sad and depressed and everything was bleak and terrible, I still didn't want to die. I wanted to see life get better. But this has just been a crazy effed up year. 2020, we're not even through March yet. We're 2.5 months into the year, and it's just been one crazy effed up ride. And I think that's all I needed to say about it. Like, I just need to get that off my chest. Down the road, girls, if you see this, know that I'm heartbroken that we had to postpone visitation weekends. I hate it. I like the self-quarantine, the social distancing, as they say. I love that. A quarantine for 2 weeks. A 2-week quarantine would be my dream. Just get to sit here, play video games, read comics, smack 2B apparently. Yeah, it's a crazy, terrible time. And the year is not even halfway over. It makes me laugh looking at it that, for so many years we've heard, the common refrain on social media has been, this year's been terrible. Give me some of those years back. Give me 2016 to 2019 again. Because this year's, yeah, it's just been a bad year so far. But it's been interesting. That is one thing. The more, I don't want to say it, but intellectual side of my brain is just fascinated by the breakdown of everything and how it's gone. I've got nothing else to say on this particular topic. Thank you for watching. I hope next time we do a vlog, it'll be a little more interesting, but I just wanted to talk about all the cancellations and the way society is, coming to a halt because of a bug. And how terribly, I keep saying it, how terribly interesting it is that, hundreds of thousands of people might not make it through this, and how we're just now starting to take it seriously. We're like something like 80 days into the pandemic. I forget when the first cases of China in China popped up, but people were just, it's the flu. Everyone needs to calm down. It's the flu. When it's 10 times worse. I hope we make it through it. I hope you make it through it, viewer. And I look forward to seeing my children, hopefully sooner rather than later. But good luck, Godspeed. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.